Hi, how you doing? Today I'm going to show you what I do to prepare to bring the ferns back into the house for the winter. I'm Sharon. I garden on a large yard in a small town in east central Saskatchewan, Zone 3, and this is my Sask garden. So it's going to probably seem a little unorthodox what I do, and it seems like I'm being a little bit rough with the ferns. They actually do take a fair bit of manipulating abuse. I'm just going to gather all this up. And I take it over to my rain barrel. And in order to clean the fronds, I dunk the whole thing into the rain barrel. So all the fronds are in there. I give it a couple of swooshes. At the same time, I'm holding the root ball so that it doesn't fall out. And that's it. And now for the second one. Same thing. Gather up those fronds. You could probably tie a string if it was a bigger plant, if there was more to do. These are quite dry, so they're easy to pick up. And just give them a big dunk. Oh, there's some ladybugs that were spending some time in that plant. You could do that in a garbage pail if you don't have water rain barrels, which actually that's what these are. It's just garbage bins that we use for rain barrels. Now I'll just pick off some of these dead leaves toward the bottom. There really isn't that many on this plant. I still have them in the original container. I bet you they doubled in size over the summer in the screened-in deck that we have. And now I'm just going to give them a big drink and let them dry off before I bring them in. I'm not going to spray them with anything because they were in a screened-in room. I know there really isn't any bugs in there. If I see evidence of any through the winter, then I will take care of them then. In this bucket, I have a very weak fertilized solution with rainwater, and I am going to dump this whole thing, pot and all, and I'm going to push it down. And because it's a little bit dry, you can hear the air bubbles. And I keep it in there until there is no more air bubbles coming out. I've been watering it this way throughout the summer, and it really responds very well, better than any other way that I've ever watered ferns. So I don't hear any more bubbles, and the pot is staying submerged, which means it's fully saturated. Then I'm just going to let that dry off. Finish draining out, and they're going to come into the house for the evening and stay in the house. Again, you just push it right down, and you can hear those air bubbles as the root ball fully rehydrates. I do have a weak solution of fairly high nitrogen fertilizer in here. I think it's 24-8-16 is the fertilizer that I have. and it's weak. I don't really want to promote growth, but I do want to give it nutrients. Okay. You won't believe the difference in weight of that plant now. There's no way I'd be able to put it upside down in the rain barrel. For those of you that have tried to winter ferns indoors before, you're going to know that it's very difficult. They like humid environments. In their natural state, they grow as an understory in a very wet environment, like Vancouver Island. The ferns on the bottom of the forest floor are just thick, and that's how they like to grow. That's really, really difficult to duplicate in a Saskatchewan house in the wintertime with the heat blowing and such. At the same time, they like bright filtered light, and that's hard to give in Saskatchewan by a window, sure, but then there's usually registers from the furnace blowing hot, dry air up. You can miss them, but it helps very little. Maybe if you misted them 10 times a day, it might be a little bit more beneficial. But when you mist them, that water stays on there for maybe half an hour, and then the plant is in dry air again. A humidifier perhaps, but it's just hard. It's very hard to keep them. So we're going to give it a try. I have done this before. The ferns do suffer through the winter months, but these are going in much healthier than the one I had before. So there they are. This is hopefully where they're going to be happy through the winter. It's between the entrance to the house and the dining room. There's the only problem that could occur is there's a door on the other side that is our main door, and so we could get cold drafts in the winter. Ferns don't like that, but it's about 8 feet from the door, so hopefully that'll be all right. The air will have warmed by the time it gets to them. I have them set as well in saucers, and I just picked these up. I just bought them on Amazon. It came 24 to a set. There was 6 each of 4 different sizes, and I think they're perfect. So what I'm planning to do is bottom water, or have a little bit of water in the bottom, not so that they actually sit in water all the time, but because that will prevent the roots from getting good oxygen. But I will keep water in here from time to time so that they get that more humid environment. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how it works. I have wintered a fern up here once before, and it declined through the winter. It did make it all the way through, but it did decline. I'm trying a couple of different things this time to see how it goes. We'll check in again throughout the winter to see how they're doing, if they're losing leaves or drying up and all of that good stuff. They sure do look nice though. I hope they survive nicely. Thanks very much for watching today. I really do appreciate it, and I hope it was helpful to you in some way. If you did find it helpful, if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. That really helps my channel. Thanks again. See you.